So I finished my little button flap. I turned it right sides together, sewed it 1/4 inch, pressed the seams open, turned it right side out and pressed it. Now the last step is to top stitch all around the edge, 1/8 of an inch right here all the way around. You don't need to sew this open part. You can at least leave that. You're just top stitching 1, 2, 3 sides. I'm going to do that right now and then I'll be back. All right, so we finished sewing our button flap. I have it top stitched. Now we're going to attach the snap to it. So you're going to take your snap pieces and again, if you don't want to do the snap or you don't have the right tools that I mentioned earlier, then I would just skip it altogether. You don't need to do the button flap and just skip the snap. But if you feel like going for it, maybe you have a hammer, maybe you have some of these tools, then go ahead and go for it. So there's 4 pieces to this is called a, I think this is called a pearl snap. I don't know. There's different kinds of snaps. There's the kind with the teeth like this that we have. There's the kind that don't have the teeth. Those are, I think, are better. I'm trying to find some to show you. They're more professional, those snaps, but I don't think I have any to show you. These you can find at Joann's or anywhere really. And we're going to mark where we want to put the snap. So we want to mark, we want it to be at 5/8 of an inch from the folded edge of this piece. So we want it, this is my folded edge right here. And we want it to be in the center. And we want it to be 5/8 of an inch from this folded edge. So I'm just going to measure. Five-eighths is like right here. And I'm just marking it with my pencil. It's roughly in the center. That's where I want my snap to be. So then I can take my top piece that's going to show and place that right over that, as centered as possible. So this is where you need to kind of, because we have all those layers, it's a little bit hard. You got to try to punch it through. Those teeth should be sharp enough. So I'm laying it on the table and I'm going to take my scissor, actually, if I can find it. And I'm using my scissor to push it down, push the fabric down into the spikes or the teeth. I'm using the blade and it's working. It works pretty well. To get in between the teeth and push it down. So then I'm going to lay that on my fabric to kind of protect my table. And then I'm going to take this, I think this is called the female part. The male part has this post that sticks out. We're going to use the female part and lay that on top of the teeth. And then this is where you take your tool that looks like this, or if you have the button tool or something like this, and you lay it on top in the center. So on this hole, you want to make sure you're centered on the teeth, and then you put this in the center of the hole and press firmly and hammer. Oops, sorry about that. Totally smashed my snap. All right, well, hopefully it'll still work. But yeah, I hammered too hard and I smashed it, but it's attached. So hopefully you don't hammer too hard. Hopefully it'll still work. Let's see. Yeah, don't hammer as hard as I did. Mine doesn't work. My bad. So be careful not to hammer too hard. So, but that's how you attach that piece. If you want, you could hold off on attaching this piece until you finish sewing the entire wallet and attach this later. So Maria and Sherry, if you guys want to wait until you have the proper tools, or you don't want to take any chances, because once it's sewn on, you could still actually attach it after it's sewn on. So that's an option. All right, moving on to the next piece. So I finished that piece. So the next piece is going to be attached to your 9x5 fabric A that has the interfacing on it like this. So we're going to put our button flap like this. And we're going to lay it right side down in the center. And we're going to attach it with a 1/4 inch seam allowance to hold it in place. So we're going to do that at the sewing machine. And then on the other side, we're going to mark where the snap goes. So we're going to mark 1.25 inches in the center. So 1.25 inches from the edge. And I'm going to go sew this right now, and then I'll come back. All right, so I previously misspoke. So the 9x5 piece should be right side up, and your button flap should be right side down, and you want to center it in between the two edges and just stitch a 1/4 inch seam allowance straight across. Then on the other side, we're going to mark with our pencil 1.25 inches. So I'm just going to eyeball the center and 1.25 inches. And that's where my snap's going to go. So I want this piece to be on the right side. I want this piece with the teeth to be underneath. So I'm going to turn it over and measure again 1.25 inches. So that I can put this in the correct place. So this piece is a little bit easier to get the teeth through because the fabric's not as thick. Again,
Amy, so What's the measurement from the edge? An inch and a quarter, you
An
said?
inch and a quarter.
Okay.
Did you already attach your first snap, Maria? How did it go?
I stopped myself from using the hammer when you said we can just wait for it because I didn't want to destroy my thing. So
Good. Yeah, I would wait and use the proper tool.
Yeah.
I already did it once the way I showed you just now, and it came out fine. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what I did wrong. I think I pounded too hard. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that was it. But
so anyway, all right. So on this piece, you poke the teeth through, and then again, you're going to set the male post part on top. And now you're going to use the sewing spool. And the sewing spool, the opening, the hole is going to set right inside that post. And then just a couple taps. All right, so yeah, it worked great. So you kind of have to give a few good taps, but it works really great using the sewing thread. So now I have the other piece attached for the snap. That's a bummer. Anyway, I'll try to fix that later. So that's how you do the male piece. So again, this female piece you could attach later if you want to wait and get the appropriate post. I'm going to go sew this and I'll come back. We're almost done. There's just one more step.